Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and especially merciful. Dear viewers across our planet Earth, I greet you with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace be with you. Again, we said that we start with this greeting, we end with this greeting, so that peace, which is the key word in this kind of greeting, so that it will be an initiative for peace to spread out and to prevail across the planet. We hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give us the ability and would teach us, would inspire us, would motivate us to learn as many strategies as we can in order to spread peace across the globe. Ameen, ameen. Dear viewers, welcome to this program. I'm quite sure that you are ready with your pens and notebooks, so that you would take some notes and you'd make some questions and you start developing the theme of this episode in particular, so that you can get more clarification about it. Because one day, I'm quite sure some of you have already started. They started doing their own work. They started doing their own halaqas, their own classes, and they started teaching it to share what they learn with others. This is one of the goals that we want to fulfill together. As I perhaps pointed out in some of the previous episodes, the importance of the diversity of the linguistic style. There are different styles you find in the Quran. It's something that makes it so attractive to you. Even if you completed the entire Quran, reading the 600 pages of the Quran today, you feel tomorrow that you want to go back and reread. And this is a good thing, a good habit if you acquire it. Because some of the scholars, famous scholars, they used to do that. They finish the entire Quran in 1 or 2 or 3 days. And then they go back again and again and again and so on and so forth. This is one of the best ways to use our time fruitfully. This is the best way to use our time. And this is how we do this. For those who listen to these tips and apply them, they fill most of their time doing something as positive as this, reciting the words of Allah. The only book that has these divine words is this book. So there is nothing better than this. This is the best of the best of the best. And those who do this are the Muslims, the ones who recite the Quran on daily basis or from time to time, more frequently, the ones who definitely positive participate to make it. This is the most commonly read and recited book across the entire earth. This is the book. So here, those ones who use every minute in their life positively, following what Allah commanded them to do. They want to fill the world with peace and with good and progressive things that would help others. Those who see the world differently than others, and those who know and who perfected how to master to use their time, the most valuable thing that we own. Time is available for everyone, but how many of them how many of the humans, of the 7.7 billion human beings, use it properly, or at least use it positively, or even much better than this, positively and properly, is to use it in the way that Allah wants us to use their time in. So it's kind of fulfilling ibadah. This is one way to show our love and service to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by obeying Him and using our time. For those caliber of people, they are very good caliber of people. If you try to collect and count them, those people who do that, they are perhaps less than, much less than 1%. And then the question that comes to the mind of each one of us, exactly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. This can roughly be translated. This is verse number 35, chapter number 68. Again, verse number 35, chapter number 68. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أفنجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين ما لكم كيف تحكمون. Shall we then treat the Muslims who believe in the oneness of Allah and who do the best of the good deeds? What is the matter with you? How judge you these issues? In other words, it tells, very simply it tells, do you think that Allah will treat the believers as He treats the criminals, the wrongdoers, the ones who do wrong worship, and one who does all these kinds of corruption? Would Allah treat the Muslims, the believers, like those criminals? What do you think? What kind of judge would Allah be if He does this? In other words, in simple language, it says that Allah would never, ever treat the believers as He treats the disbelievers or the criminals. This is Allah, who is qualified to be Al-Hakam, Al-Adl, the most judge, the most fair one to judge people and evaluate them. Do you think, would the Muslims be treated at the end like the criminals, those criminals, the wrongdoers, the idol worshippers? Of course not. This is not the way Allah would judge them. Of course, because based on their deeds and the quality of their deeds, they would not get the same kind of evaluation. No way. This is a very beautiful question and very comforting answer and very realistic and fair thing for those ones who are always positive, who are always doing something that pleases their Lord. Day and night, 24/7, every day, all their lifetime, they are doing something similar to this. Would they be treated like those criminals that you find everywhere, those who corrupt the entire world, whether they corrupt their beliefs, their belief system, or their economic system, or the entire life that they live in? Of course, there is no way for comparison. In other words, rest assured and be sure and be satisfied with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. He deals with those and He treats those people who are always doing good by doing the best of the things that they can achieve every day. Whenever it's time that Allah wants them to show their obedience, they do it. 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, when they listen to the call for prayer, they wake up and they start being preparing themselves and their kids in order to do the morning prayer, then doing the azkar, then doing the positive projects that they are supposed to do. In other words, they fill their time. When you look at their schedule, whether it is written, their planner, or written, memorized in their minds, that's what they do. They try to keep themselves busy, not every 5 minutes, every minute with something positive. Something positive. And the best of the positive things is to do the obligations that they are supposed to do. This is number one. Whatever obligation Allah asks them to do at this time, so they are there. They are the first, on the first row of the prayer, to show their obedience and submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show their love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They kick out all forms of comfort, or all forms of luxury, or all forms of other things that they do, and put forward the obedience, the acts of obedience for Allah. This is number one. Then comes whatever is needed by their family members, whatever is needed at their workplace, whatever is needed by the community that they live in, whatever is needed, everything that's positive, that's what they do. Those are the Muslims. Those are the sincere and the true Muslims. And I'm reminding you that the word Islam means surrendering themselves only to Allah. Whatever Allah commands them, and Allah commands nothing but the best of the best of the best. Therefore, when they do these things, they got used to do the most positive things for themselves and for their communities, whether it's a small community represented in their families, or whether it's a larger community, whether it's represented by the companies or the schools or the universities or whatever, wherever they work. All these are good areas to practice and exercise their positive thinking and positive deeds and positive acts. So that's what they do. That's how they keep themselves. That's why they have done this, and they are expecting the judgment of Allah. They are expecting the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be given to them. Not only in this life, the temporal life that we live in, but also in later life when they can get the best of the best benefits and rewards from Almighty Allah. So if you are not sure of that, read the verse and it will remind you that this is the act of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with or regard the acts of the believers or towards the believers. أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ. When you go to any judge in this world, usually, yes, sometimes willingly or not willingly, you attend any court. And sometimes your role, your time, your turn in the court is not in the beginning. And sometimes you may spend to see how the judge works, especially in countries that apply justice. and there are many of them. Yes, they are not as many as the countries that they don't do that, yet you can get an idea of human judges, that what they do. The first mistake, the biggest mistake is that these judges make. They don't use the same evaluation system that's mentioned in this Quran, yet they still are looking for justice, and they are pursuing it, and they are trying to reach this by taking their decisions. And you will find that most of the cases, when they become fair, they do not deal with the criminals as they deal with the good people. And this is understood, or this is deduced from a verse like this, or from the entire Quran. Because one of the main focuses, the focal point in this Quran is justice. They are looking for justice to prevail. When you talk to any of these judges, you will find them repeating the word justice all the time. And they are doing as much as they can in order to make justice prevail. This is what we can deduce from this verse. Don't ever expect, of course, in this world, it is very possible that we may find judges as humans. They may make mistakes. They are eager to do justice, but it is their nature as humans. They are affected by factors, many factors around them. So they may misjudge the situation. They may misevaluate the whole case or many cases as part of their being humans. So they are not dealing with people, the good ones and the criminal ones, in the same way. They are not doing the same kind of treatment. Now, this verse is so unique in Islam, and now we know that it's verse number 35, chapter number 68. It reminds us all the time, you will definitely be rewarded very fairly, and you expect yourself to be on the top people at the end of this world, at the end of this life, which is so temporary for all of us. We do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for showing us these guidelines and for giving us support to follow what is there. And we continue ask you to give us more support so that we would be able to spread these concepts to the people who need it, and most of the people do need it. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.